Here we go. He's got his microphone. This will be setting in as my microphone today. Welcome back, Gladi Tarot. Go right there. All right. I'm going to start by serenading the planet. Here we go. Oh. Beautiful, beautiful, no other name. I knew from the moment you came. I've seen in your eyes the dawn of a day when nothing will ever be the same. You feel my heart beating through my chest. I'll get used to just saying yes. Yes, I love you with all I am. Yes, tonight is where we begin. Okay. I wanna stand for you. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, I'd do anything for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Tonight, my love, all I wanna sing for you. Yeah, I'll sing for you. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday to you. Oh. Wrap you in love for the rest of my days. Pray you find joy through your pain. I can't protect you from every heartbreak. The world isn't easy that way. I'll be there for you when you crawl, there to pick you up when you fall. Yes, I love you with all I am. Yes, tonight is where we begin. Ooh, I wanna dance with you. Ooh, I promise to stand for you. Oh, ooh, I'll do anything for you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Tonight, my love, all I wanna sing for you. Yeah, I'll sing for you. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday to you.
No, I don't like it. It's childlike. Isn't it hard a pizza cake, though?
Oh, wrap you in love for the rest of my days. Pray you find joy through your pain. Here we go. Okay. All right. Had to. Yeah, the imagery of what I'm seeing, and literally what I was just seeing at the gym. I watched Palace Athena tumble in the physical, so I knew I was supposed to be there. I knew last night. I was saying I got to get to the gym early. I didn't know why I had to be at the gym early. I was the only person in the gym watching the sister, fall to her knees, literally. Um, so I know I was called to be there for a reason, to like set up the call with the chiropractor. Like this is like actually, an aspect of all of us. This is an aspect of the self. So I saw like the head feminine warrior drop and take a knee, literally. And I knew I was supposed to be there. Like I said it, like I said. And when I got there, I just was like, why am I here? Like it seemed like I wasn't supposed to be there because all the equipment that I was to use today was taken. So this seemed a little odd to me that I was there when I like really wasn't supposed to be there. But then when I saw this person get injured, I was like, oh, I see why I'm here, because the room was completely empty. So yeah. So somebody's asking, is it Gaia's birthday? Yes, it is Gaia's birthday. It's to me, it's Gaia's birthday. This 11, 2, 2, 2, 2, this adding up to this 10. This is just this new beginning. This is this new beginning that I have to let the reality know that I'm at. This new beginning. It's the more I'm telling the reality that there are people attempting to attack me when it's not even about like being attacked. I just need to let the reality know, and those of you know, because I'm sure some of you are dealing with what I've been dealing with. And it's honestly, I'm not even complaining about it. I'm just letting you know what I've had to do and what I am doing, whether or not some of you consider it service to self. It's to me, it's not service to self. It is service to the whole, service to the collective. And I have to, like at this present moment, like I'm not saying I'm not here to help my friends, and I'm not saying I'm not here to take care of stuff, but spirit has me blocking people left and right. This device, my cell phone, this is a personal connection force to myself. This is a source of connection, whether it's a 4D connection or what it is. There's more of a connection than I wish there was. And as I've gone through these things, like I mentioned to you guys the other day, where I do not open Facebook and Instagram before a certain time of the day, and I definitely don't open them before I have finished my workouts. I would see a lot of things go on, and this habit took much longer than 22 days to break. If you haven't done this work, I highly, highly suggest that you do this work of going through breaking this habit of not opening social media, especially not while you're in bed, but just notice how many times your hand goes to do it, or notice how many times you do it. He said. And I learned this literally from, of all people, from Dwayne Johnson, the guy that, the Rock guy. I was watching this video on intermittent fasting while I was like getting more and more into intermittent fasting, and I was wondering why all these like crazy changes were happening in my body. And when I heard him say like, part of my fasting is fasting from technology, I was like, oh my God, that feels so good. And he said he does not, until he's done with his morning workout, open up Facebook or Instagram. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. The next day, I opened it up. The day after that, I opened it up. The day after that, I opened it up. And I know how strong my willpower is. So I was just like, oh my God. Like, and then like all the days where I opened it and I was about to, and I was like, and I stopped. And then finally Spirit was able to get through and stop me from opening up social media. But like what this was doing to my energy, like when I was opening up, I didn't realize what was taking place. And with what's going on right now, it's because it's like it's multiple messages a day of people going through whatever victim mentality, people going through abandonment, people going through things that are not, I promise you, they are not real, and they do not exist in this dimension unless they exist within yourself. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are suffering when they're just, there shouldn't be suffering. So if windows and things of suffering are coming through, and what I'm hearing, I'm not saying I'm never going to help like you again. So if people have my personal phone number from doing personal readings with me, like they did a reading and like, yes, we became friends. I wanted to be friends, but it's like, the more I see that I'm dumping water on a bridge that this other person keeps setting on fire, like I'm the one who's constantly putting the water on the bridge. And the people in my life, like some of them that I'm like choosing to not have them in my life anymore, are continuing to put more and more fire on the bridge. So I'm just allowing that bridge to temporarily burn so we can build a new bridge, which is stronger and better, built from love, not from suffering. I cannot save anybody from suffering. I've learned that. I had to save myself from my suffering and my belief structures and the crap that was going on in my life. And I thank all of you that have helped me and supported me through that. I thank all of you that saw me suffering and still stuck with me through this because you knew what was coming. You knew I was your brother. You knew I was family. So big shout out to all those people. But these constant messages, like if I see suffering come through, like I said, I have to block it. I have to block it. This is what Spirit's asking me to do. And if people are going to look at that as abandonment, if people are going to look at that as some sort of victim thing where I left them in it, or I left the family, or I left the group, or I left this or that, then so be it. I leave you in that. I do. I will leave you in that. I do leave you to your suffering because I know it's not real. And I know that we've been tricked by religions. We've been tricked by society. We've been tricked by belief structures. And it's just, I can't have it having an immediate connection to me through my phone. And it's like for years, I've been working at getting better at learning when to open it, how to open it, like when to check my phone, how to do this. But it's like there's certain people, it's like no matter how many times I've said something, they're not doing it. And it's like I tell you guys that all the time. Like if you give somebody advice and they do not take it, then what can you really do? So like there will be more videos following up, like how I got to this point, and just like things to me that are sadly not basics. But there's things that I will be talking about more. I need to talk about this cleanse and what my body's gone through, my soul's gone through, my astral, my etheric, my causal, and to get to the point that Spirit has basically groomed me to get to over the course of all this time. So there's nothing weird or dark about you doing what you know it is that you need to do. And this whole, like, as I'm doing it, like this guilt of blocking people that aren't honoring me. Like I earned honor. I earned revere. I know how hard I've worked. So like to have these people sending me loving texts or passive aggressive texts or victim mentality texts of like making me feel like I'm leaving them in their stuff, you are absolutely 1,111% accurate. I am leaving you in your stuff because I cannot get you out of it. You need to see what you're doing. And you need to see that you don't need to suffer any longer. And these are just, as my boundaries get stronger and stronger, I hope your boundaries get stronger and stronger. And I'm not speaking to all of you right now because some of you have like literally only been love, have only been excitement, have only been joy in my life for the entirety of me knowing you. And it's like this whole, like I've had so many people across like my reality and across my spiritual childhood, if you will, tell me, oh, like when when the going gets rough, you drop out and and they're like, you're only around for the good times, you're only around for this or that. And that has been this like source of having me have to sit with it and sit with it and sit with it. And it's allowed me to allow others to keep me in this victim thing with them. So from where I am now, from what I'm seeing now, from what I know is multidimensionally taking place in this present moment, there are people that still have not healed the Orion Gate Wars. There are people that still have not healed Atlantis, and there are people that still have not healed Lemuria. And to get to this point of being able to see, I know when Spirit blocked something from me, when Spirit blocked me, like not in some lifetime, not being able to see that my child was burned by my side, or like something that I couldn't have handled at a certain point. Like there were times where I was like, I know how I died. Like I would say it to Spirit for over the course of like a half of a decade, sometimes longer. I would say like, I know how I died. Why won't you just show it to me? Like it's not going to be that traumatic for me to watch it. Like I feel like it'll be very healing. And then eventually when they were like, fine, you're actually ready to see this. And I saw like, oh, my child was there. This was there. That was there. Like some of the people that are suffering right now they're incredibly powerful. And they were incredibly powerful in these wars or these times or when we were tricked. Like plain and simple, there were times we were tricked, and it's like I'm even looking at when like I've been tricked over and over again, and how we've all been tricked. Like the more I sit with this integration day after day of like these people that are just suffering, and they think demons are affecting them, and they think all these negative things are affecting them, when it's just like every day as I integrate more and more, these things get further and further away. And I notice that they have less and less of an opportunity to affect me in a malevolent way. So it's like, even as I look at the archetypes and the zodiacs and all of this, like, what if the greatest trick that was ever committed against spiritual humanity was us thinking that God even ever was fractaled down? Like, what if the original creator of soul, whatever your vernacular is, source, always has been one? And this is what we've been figuring out. Because the more I sit with this, that's what I'm seeing more and more every single day. And I see who's stuck in this, who's stuck in the Orion War, who's stuck in Lemuria, who's stuck in Atlantis, or who's stuck in all three, or who's stuck in two of those. But as I worked on this whole like being brought up on the Atlantic Ocean thing and what Atlantis was to me, and this whole tree meditation, all this stuff, you don't know what I'm talking about with trees, you got to go back a couple videos. But as I saw this more and more and more and saw this trauma, now I'm able to like just go out and see these like maces that are not maces. They're clearly chopped down trees that it's not, no one's responsible for it. That's what I'm seeing. Like everybody was like, oh, it was them. Oh, it was the Greys. Oh, it was this. It's like everybody has their own different message of what Atlantis, what Lemuria, what the Orion Gate Wars was to them. But it's, if we aren't able to heal it and get out of it, which I know you all will. And that's what, like, whoever's hearing this, you already have, or I know that you will, but having this like, oh, I just worry about them. Like, that's what I really had to sit with, was the people that I was worrying about. Cause I was like, well, what are they going to do without like like I see who's around them. Like they're surrounded by all these people that are just so dark, and they're pretending they're not dark. And like, I know I bring that inner child innocence and that joy and that laughter to their life. So like when certain people were pushing me out, I started to worry about them. But then like, that's when like spirit showed me, like, if I worry about these people, they're receiving it as pity. And these are like very powerful godheads in this reality that they shouldn't be pitied. And it's like to see like, you know, like the most powerful of us, the most powerful warriors, those are the ones that survived the longest, which means they had to watch the most of their friends and family die around them. So I see their struggle and I see what they're going through, but I can no longer sit with them and struggle in that, because I'm not helping, I'm not assisting by just allowing my energy and my frequency to be dilapidated by these people that don't realize we don't have to suffer. And it's like, we tricked us. We tricked ourselves. It's all you. It's all me. It's all God. It's all original creator. It's all of this one soul that is star stuff, that is like this, just all of it combined. And when we look at this, like, there is bad things. There is, oh, this person's doing this. This person's doing that. We just have to allow them to leave our reality. We have to allow them. And it's like this whole blame and who's upset about what, and waiting for, oh, they'll need me someday. No, none of that works. I promise you, none of that works. The best thing you can do is what Spirit's been communicating with me, and you can take this with a grain of salt or not, but what Spirit's been telling me is there's a shift in the reality coming. To those that are still choosing to suffer, there's another huge like break coming. And I know those of you see it that are thriving right now. I know you see it. It's like the bell curve was like this. Like there was like a bell curve, and it was like, here was the people that were really thriving, and here was the people that were really suffering, and most of humanity was in here. But all of a sudden the bell inverted, and everybody was pushed up to one side or the other. And as I saw this, I was like, oh God, what do I do? Because I was just getting like better and better intel, and Spirit knew what I was doing. And some of you could see me and what I was doing and know I'm good. So it's like to have all at once, like these people, like, and it doesn't even matter what side of the bell curve that they're on. It doesn't matter if I'm here or there. It doesn't matter. But what I was seeing was people starting to really suffer, and the people that were suffering were telling me I was suffering. They're telling me, oh, I'm sorry. They're telling me, oh, I can give a session to you. I can bring a device to you. I can do this or that. Alexander's not in the body. The people that started to worry about me from this, like, come play with us mentality, don't leave us here mentality, It was completely uncanny. And it's like, I'm not going to air out any of the stuff and show screenshots of it, but I'm telling you guys, it is something every single day. If not, like just yesterday after I finished the broadcast, I got messages from 5 people with abandonment issues, with victim mentality, with telling me they love me, but they hate me. And I know you know who you are. And yes, I'm talking about you. And yes, I'm also saying, like, this is no longer, I can't allow this anymore. I cannot allow this anymore. Just because you've done sessions with me, and like, yes, I wanted to build friendships with all these people, and there still is an opportunity for friendship in the future, but this is not friendship. The way that I've been being treated and the way that I've been being dishonored by not being seen, not being listened to, I can't allow it anymore. So some of you might be getting to this point yourselves with this stuff. Some of you might have to have these conversations or not have to have these conversations. It's not about going through this weird thing or having this weird thing take place or sitting the person down and it being awkward and bringing drama to them or whatever. But if somebody's just coming to you, see, here's the thing. I don't want people to hear this and say, oh, if I contact Alexander and something's going wrong, he's going to block me. That is not what I'm saying. If that's what you're hearing, you're in victim mentality. What I'm saying is this. There is a way to reach out to me with ease and grace. Let me use the boogie board as a phone. Be like, Alexander, here's what's happening. So-and-so fell over. So-and-so died. This or that. Da, 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 da. I don't even know what to do right now. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I could use a little bit of help right now. Blah, 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 blah. That's not victim mentality. Victim mentality is, here's what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. When's this going to shift? When's the money coming in? When's this or that? When's the reset? When's the global this or that? You're a trick. I promise you. I promise you, you're a trick. I hope I'm wrong. I will literally come live on camera and eat crow when all the freaking abundance. I hope we all made investments into this stuff. I pray and I hope and I co-create with you all that I'm wrong. But I feel every cell of my body. I see so many people wasting their lives. I see so many people wasting their time, waiting on some, like, literally too good to be true investment that you made. It's like, you've got to move past this. You have to stop waiting for this abundance. Like, why would all of a sudden these turds want to, like, turn your $5,000 into $5 million? It doesn't make sense, family. It doesn't make sense. If this stuff triggers you, and you're like, oh, he's got an Alexander, he's possessed, he's this or that, then whatever, please unsubscribe from the channel, and the frequency will go up of the channel, the frequency will go up of the chat, and the frequency will just keep going up as these people that are just controlled have to go and just see. Like, they'll eventually see, and I hope they don't see. I hope that they've created a timeline or a reality where that's happened. But Spirit keeps showing me time and time again, I need to have my masculine, my feminine, and my inner child integrated. Because it's my inner child that needs to communicate with mom and dad within the self, that knows where the excitement is. And that's where the excitement is, that when I follow that excitement, that's where my abundance comes from. When my excitement leaves temporarily because I'm frustrated with whatever, like crystal current, something I put up thousands of dollars in and then it didn't work out, or I just did so many sessions to the point where I feel like I'm going to fall over. I notice that each thing, as the scales tip of excitement, all of a sudden it's like everybody knows, like, oh, I don't want to book a session right now. But then when I'm excited about doing sessions, it's like boom, 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 boom. And it's like I get some new beads in and nobody even knows it. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go in there and I want to work on this. And all of a sudden, like the website starts cranking and crushing. So it's like this whole jack of all trades, master of none thing that so many are stuck in. And so many are stuck in this, just like, it's just so sad to me to watch people waste their youth. And it's like, I know we're immortal and I know time doesn't exist, but at the same time, it's like people could be using your help. And like, I see all these people that need more help. And the way that they get more help is by all of us stepping out of victimhood and all of us stepping out of this suffering. Oh, well, Buddha suffered and Jesus suffered. That's why I put up a picture of Jesus on this post, because so many people have been tricked into suffering. And like, what if none of that was real? Like, what if these texts were changed? Like, what if that's not even how it went down? Because the more I see, when I was suffering, this was good because it created pressure. It was depression, and that pressure put force on the coal that I thought I was, to illuminate the fact that I was a diamond. And then it's like the stronger diamond and the better diamond and the bigger diamond. But just last week, I woke up and I heard this word paragon, and I didn't even know what it meant. Like literally, like just spirits like paragon. I was like, what the heck is a paragon? I was like, I remember a restaurant named that. And I go and I look it up, and it's like this like priceless diamond. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, all this pressure and what I've done, because that was on the last day of my juice cleanse. Like just literally like liquids, and getting to this point where it's like, I know it's like I've gone back and forth. I went a year and a half without ever having a meat product or cheese, and then all of a sudden I was like, I was like floating in between the reality, whether it was nanotech or bacteria or parasites or worms or whatever. Like I had to clear out my body, and as I've cleared out my body, I've gotten to a stronger place of just like I can't do that, I can't do that, I can't do that. Sometimes like the reality is pressuring me into like, oh, come here, we're all going to be here, we're all doing this thing, but it's like it's at a pizza parlor, I might not be able to come. And it's like, yeah, of course I wish I was there and eating delicious pizza, but I can't, like I just can't eat that right now, I can't do that right now. So spirit's asking me to be strict and to let everybody know like the truth, not just be like, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm busy, oh, I'm still working. I literally feel like I've reached that point in the Liar movie where he's like, I can't lie. Like I can't lie anymore. So it's like I want to tell the truth, and I need to. I don't even want to tell the truth, because sometimes I don't want to tell the truth. I need to tell the truth. And as I'm telling the truth more and more, this is taking place. And as I'm telling my truth and people are asking, I can't lie for other people that aren't in integrity anymore. So then sometimes people are hearing this stuff and it's like, what if this was all a plan? Like, what is all this? And I'm still sitting with this, but what I'll just like the little tidbit of it I'll give you is like this whole like, what I know I like having Italian blood and growing up on the East Coast, this whole like, he's a rat, he's a snitch. Oh, he talked behind our backs, this weird thing. But it's like, a lot of times where I was like talking behind backs, I was worried. I was genuinely worried. And I had to worry so I could see, oh God, the worry feels like crap. And I had to see like, oh my God, I was making these people feel like this. I remember when my mom worried, I'd have to say this or that. And I remember when my language shifted to be able to speak in a certain manner where I would tell people, I would basically tell them the truth without telling them the truth, so they wouldn't manifest more crap for me. And spirit was like kind of like teaching me how to do this back in 2015, whether it was light or dark. This is what spirit wanted me to be able to do, to escape the pains of the lower planes of reality and exist in the higher and vibrate in the higher. And the example that I give of this before this gets tested by anybody is even though I was like struggling financially back in 2015, what I would say was, when somebody would call me from Warrior and be like, so how you doing? Like I knew these people were like, he's going to fail within 3 months, 6 months, or a year. So when I would talk to these people on the phone, because I couldn't just avoid them because I moved away, when I would talk to these people on the phone, they would say, how are you doing out there? And honestly, it was scary. Like there was a point where like me and like some of my family here, we were literally just eating like rice and frozen shrimp and like canned beans like every night. Like it was nuts. And I'm not complaining. I'm saying I had to dig. I had to scratch and claw my way up out of the muck. And as I did that, I had to like basically, like I said, lie to these people. So this is how this looked, and this is what spirit taught me how to do. Whether this is light or dark, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm saying what I had to do in the past. So I would tell them. They would say, "How you doing out there?" And my honest answer would have been like, "Honestly, I'm like eating rice and shrimp every day, and it's kind of scary. I'm scared." But spirit was like, you can't say that because then they're gonna feed into that. They're gonna go contact your mom, your family members, your friends, and they're gonna strengthen the fact that you're suffering right now, and all that worry is going to make it so the rest of the reality melts around you. And I would have had to have gone back to Rhode Island. I would have had to have moved back across the country. So I had to lie then. I honestly had to. And the way that I would say that was, they say, how are you doing? And I basically tricked them, like as the trickster, as the fox, as whatever it is, all the dark things that not everybody, but some people say I am. I had to tell them, there's so much money to be made out here. People are really thriving. You can just like make videos, and then people like will see you and they find you and they like want to support you and do sessions and buy your products, because that's what I was seeing. I was surrounded by these people. I saw them because they saw me. So I was talking about a true statement of what I was seeing in the reality. And so it's like this whole like, yeah, they got tricked. So they got tricked into co-creating with me that I was abundant now. And I would see this stuff take place and take foothold in the reality within moments. Within moments. I go around, my plants aren't watered or something's going on. I'm just literally, I have to intuitively and energetically with my gut and my heart tune in and just be like, something's wrong in the reality. Abundance has come in a couple of days. What do I do? And then I'm just like, oh, the plants are upset about this, and this is going on with that, and that's got to go. And you got dust over there, the trash can's overflowing. You got to do this, change the sheets, get that, move that around. What's that? What's that item? You have that sitting there. That just makes you sad. That reminds you of the person that hurt you. Get rid of it. You don't have to throw it away. Leave it on the edge of the yard, or go give it to somebody, or go leave it on a park bench. Like, having to do and make the shifts. And I talked about some of this stuff in little tidbits during yesterday's video. That's why I was like, I have to get this all compartmentalized for my family, because some of you are being guilted into stepping out of victimhood and stepping out of victim mentality and stepping out of suffering. And I promise you, it's not real. And I promise you, you can't ascend from suffering. You just cannot ascend from suffering. I just really don't believe it's possible. And if somebody does, then yeah, prove me wrong. I'd love to see it. But for me, when I suffer, I'd be able to find something. I'd be able to remember something. I'd be able to go back to like, why did I stop juicing? Why did I stop doing that? Oh, my diet changed. What happened to that supplement? What happened to this or that? Oh, I haven't been working out as much. I've been missing this or that. And I'd have to make changes in my physical, mental, and spiritual reality. So it's like through that suffering, yes, a lot of good things come. And it's like we have to know whatever the thing is, whatever the trauma is, whatever's taking place in the reality, whether it's on the phone, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's something that just happened. Universe, spirit, original creator of my soul, you're doing a great job. I want this or better in my reality. We have to trust that this is all part of the plan. We have to trust that where we're going, it's going to continue to get better and better. And I promise you, it has gotten better and better. And some people can't see that because they're still choosing to suffer, and they're still choosing to close doors and close certain things out instead of healing them once and for all. So to let you know the energetics of that, it's Orion Gate Wars, it's Lemuria, or it's Atlantis. So I leave this. I leave it out here for you guys because I know I've healed stuff. I know I have. I sat with my family. We went, literally did like soul retrieval on outer space. We went out, whether it was real or not. We grabbed the gate. We grabbed the Orion Gate before the missiles hit it, and we used like time magic to put it where it was, and we like fixed everything. And it's like, even though this like essentially like wasn't real, it was real. And it was like we were doing like massive amounts of group Reiki on the reality. Like, we've gone to the moon, we freed the giants, we've done this, we've been, all of us, some of us here have been regrowing these trees and just doing this work and healing this connection with nature. Some of you are doing some things that you might think are silly, and you're like, what is this even doing? Trust me, I've seen so many miracles come through in the physical reality, so many miracles come through on from other people's channels and other people's avenues. The second me and the patrons family, or me and all of you guys did something, we did a meditation, we did a big group thing, I've seen things really, really shift in the reality, and heard people say like, whatever it is. Like I'll never forget when I had this, like, once again, whether it was tricks or magic or not, like Spirit showed me in 2016 how to create this whole, they had me call it Wizards of Sedona. And it was basically like this like 5D to 9D Dungeons and Dragons game. And I put all these people together, and everybody picked like literally out of like this days on top of days on top of days of work I did to write out all these forms and to tune in on these archetypal frequencies, on what their skill sets are and how to do it and how often they can do these things. It was just so validated by what I could see, by what my third eye could see, because my third eye turned on full blown, not from me working on turning it on. It turned on accidentally for me. And I know a lot of people are like, you're so lucky you had this or that. And it's like, yeah, I am. We're all lucky, though. We are all lucky and fortunate, no matter what's going on, no matter like whether there's water in the basement right now or you're just thriving and you're a multimillionaire. We are all
doing better than anyone's ever done in the history of the human collective in a very, very long time, thousands and thousands of years. And I just like there's no way for me to force people to see that. But like the general theme of what needs to be said and needs to be known is I'm being asked to no longer let people force suffering into my reality, and that's okay. And I hope you know that's okay. And if it's not okay, tell me about it in the comments. Seriously. I want to see the actual vibration and hear some truth from you guys. Like I said, my boundaries got to the point where I see something that's out of alignment, I have to speak about it. The second I said that, and the second I reached that place of boundaries, so many people just vanished from my reality because they were like, oh God, he's going to have to say the thing. He's going to have to say the thing. He's going to have to tell me to stop lying. He's going to have to tell me to stop doing this thing that I complain about this thing. Like I complain about, like, it's like, I like, it's like, I can't anymore. Like people like, oh, I want to remember my dreams. It's like, stop smoking pot before bed. Oh, I want to do this. Well, stop eating that thing. Well, I want to do that. It's like, it's like this like whole, like, oh, I gotta be gentle. I gotta say these things. Like I got past all that. I got past all that. And I knew like I wanted just like, and I had like the best intent of like, let's all just skip forward as brothers and sisters. Like it's not, don't look at me like I'm ahead of you. But like it got to the point where it's like, spirit's like, no, you got to be dad, you got to be grandpa, you got to be grandma, or you got to be mom right now. You have to do these things for these people. So right now, whether you call it grandma, grandpa, dad, mom, all of the above, or just God in a physical popsicle suit, I'm just, yeah, I cannot allow people to introduce suffering into my reality when I know that when I keep my frequency high and I keep my frequency love, more of these videos come, more intel comes, more downloads, more information, more rising, more rising. And that's what we all truly do here together. So whoever tricked you into suffering, it doesn't matter who tricked you. You don't need to blame anybody. There's no blame. Just like forgive yourself for the fact that you allowed yourself to suffer. Forgive yourself. That's all that really needs to be done. So you can say, I don't want to suffer anymore. And then you'll see that it's gone. It's instantly gone. These demons are instantly gone. Or maybe like some sort of cleansing or clearing that you'll have to do, because that's what I had to do. The best thing I can tell you to direct you to is the Essene Gospel of Peace. And I freaking love you guys so much. I really do. So yeah, boundaries. The more that you strengthen your boundaries and the more that I've strengthened my boundaries, the more powerful I've become, the more integrated I've become, and the more I started to trigger the reality. So if that's happening in your reality, whether it's with mom, dad, boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, whoever, if that stuff is taking place in your reality, I look at that as a good thing. Honestly, I look at that as a good thing. If these people are attacking you, it's because they're upset that you're abandoning them to their victimhood, you're abandoning them to their suffering. And it's like, this is not, and it's like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe this is service to self. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of is this is service to self. Having boundaries is not service to self. Having boundaries is being able to then keep breaking through and keep finding your new boundaries and keep seeing where you were wrong. If anybody is saying the same stuff that they were saying 5 years ago, I find a huge problem in that. I need to be able to leave all my old videos up. I need to be able to come back and be like, hey guys, my opinion has changed on this. My opinion has changed on this. Like, I'm sorry if this like sent anyone astray, but this was my process at that time. I mean, just in the time of my awakening, my view on what took place in Atlantis has shifted now for the third time. And this is the first time that when I saw it, I actually cried. I sat there with tears in my eyes watching this tree fall in the water. And I said, like, this is like basically why like Avatar messed me up. Like I was in the theater and I was not okay. Like there's times where like characters and movies and people that I've grown to love over like multiple movies, like they die in the movie. And I'm like, that's sad. And I feel like I get a little choked up, but I'm fine. that was actual character development. To just watch one movie, and yeah, it's a long movie, but when I watched that tree fall in Avatar, it messed me up. And then I just like kind of like brushed it off. I stayed like, oh, you can't cry because you have a penis between your legs. And it's like I stayed like strong in it, but it's like I went home and I was messed up. And then I just like kind of like bottled that up or released it in whatever way that I did. But it's like some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. When we see things like that and we remember things like that, and when we're noticing like, wait a minute, this is like why would that affect me this much unless if I existed on that planet or if that planet was here and I just forgot. Um, Sybil saying I sobbed for all of Avatar. Yeah, that's because that's where we were, Mama Bear. Like that's where like these things and these frequencies and these like this breatharian, like that's where to me that magic really lies. And I'm not saying that in this reality we can't get to that breatharian point, but there is magic that was connected to those trees, and there was magic that was connected to those basically art forms of spiritual science. It's almost like there was these giant forces of nature had a dog whistle, like how the dog whistle, we can't hear it, but there's like a high pitched sound going on somewhere else. These forms of nature that were just like it just happened. It's not even like saying who the bad guy was, because it's all you, it's all me, it's all the one is in the all. So it's like that's what I'm seeing more and more every day, and it's like almost like I'm basically like retracting that comment of this whole, but at the same time not, because it's like I always was saying love, the opposite, the consort is war, love and war, harmony and discord, light and night. It's all one and the same. But this whole duality thing, like from this reality standpoint where I'm sitting, and honestly, it seems like the entire thing was a trick. It seems like the entire thing was just like oh, I'm just God's pinky toe in this reality, or I'm just this little piece of it, or I'm 1/12th, or I'm 1/16th, or I'm 1/33rd, or whatever the numbers are that I was saying at any point in my ascension process. I'm seeing more and more. It's just like, no, like what if that was the greatest trick? And that's what I was getting to today. And that's why I wanted to say happy birthday to Gaia, and happy birthday to my inner child, and happy birthday to my boundaries, and happy birthday to all of you, because it's like I freaking love you guys. But there can't be any more suffering. And I'm not telling anybody that's been squeezing through with suffering into my reality, and I've been allowing this because I love you so freaking much. You know how many times I've been on the phone with you for a half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour, like when I could and did have the time and wanted to pull you up out of this. But it's like I gave you the tools. I told you what to do. I know what you need to do. I can't allow suffering to come through into my life any longer. So it doesn't mean that I need an apology. I don't want an apology from anybody that was doing this. I don't want you to think that you did wrong by doing this. I'm letting you know, my reality know, because I think that there's a lot of content creators or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of people that are here that they're dealing with this too, and they're wondering how to do it. And that's what this message is. This message is really for them. This message is not to let like this, like I don't know, like 3% of the subscriber count, let them know like I can't allow this anymore. I can't not allow this anymore, and that's okay. If that upsets you, that's okay. But it's like I'm not allowing projections in on me anymore on my reality, and I'm not allowing dread or suffering to come through. And I know it's not real, and I know that you have the keys. I know that you have the keys inside your heart. You need to remember that love is the only real house of magic. And this whole like light, night, this thing, that thing. Some people are being held in the lower realms by not releasing lower dimensional forms of themselves because they love those powers. They love that thrill or whatever it is. It's kind of like how at some point in our lives we all have this like, ooh, the bad boy, the bad girl. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, black lace and leather and ooh, ooh. Like I had to get out of that. I had to get past that. And some people just have not gotten past that. And some people just have not stopped talking bad about this or that. It's like when there's just guys together or just girls together, these dramas and these things are happening. And I see this, and that's not innocence. I'm being asked every day to look at my reality with more and more innocence And as I do this more and more, I'm now able to see like, I can't help this person. I can't help this person. And that's okay. That you need to help you. You're hearing this message and you're triggered right now, and you're not feeling like, he's saying it, he's doing it. If this isn't lifting you up and making you excited to hear this message, then you're suffering. I promise you. I promise you, you've been suffering. Something tricked you into suffering. You're still in a victim mentality. How can you ascend from victimhood? And if somebody wants to explain that to me, I would love to hear that answer. But for me, I can't do it anymore. Close the door to victimhood. I close the door to suffering. Suffering should not ever exist. I love you all so much. I will see you tomorrow for another live broadcast. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your years of support. I hope this message helped. Like I said, leave me comments if you agree. Let me know what your belief structure is on this, because that's what I asked you. And that's what I ask of you. And that's what I tell you all is, if I got to this point where I was like, I need to hold my reality accountable. So if you watch me every time I go live, I'm part of your reality, and I would like for you to hold me accountable. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. We're not all supposed to agree. I had somebody disagreeing the other day on what was it? It was on Instagram. I finally got back into Instagram after being blacklisted there, and I go and somebody was like disagreeing with me, and I went back in and I was like, you know what? I was like, thank you for like being loving while disagreeing still. Like, I realized that me and this person were having a very loving argument. And like, it was like, I don't agree with you. It's like, well, I don't agree with you. Because why? But it was still like, it felt loving. Like, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like, usually like if somebody's like, nah, blah, 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 I feel this like angst coming. But I like went back into the message and I was like, whether it was a brother or sister, I can't remember now, but I was like, thank you for remaining loving while disagreeing still. And I don't even know if that comment ever got like, reciprocated or liked or not, anything. It doesn't even matter. I haven't even had the opportunity to reopen Instagram to see if that video is even still up. But like I said, leave it in the comments, and like just would love to leave this with you. When you hold your reality accountable, then your reality can hold you accountable. And this makes it so that you more quickly ascend. At least that's my belief structure in this present. Is as I do this, as I work on my accountability, my boundaries, also by saying like, I can't lie anymore, I can't watch lies anymore, but also like, once I've told that person you're lying, you're lying to yourself. If that triggers them, they're going to get upset and say I'm possessed, I'm evil, or this or that, and so be it. I will be that point. I will be whatever it is you need me to be. And right now, what I'm getting, the best thing that I do for people that are suffering is to allow them to suffer, allow them to feel abandoned, because that's the thing. As I love them more than I ever could, honestly, really honestly love people, to me, that they're strangers. They're strangers. I have become this, like, you see me, you hear me for hours every week, some of you. And it's like, oh, that's my friend. And yes, I am your friend. But some of these people, they're literally strangers to me. They are. And I still love them so much and allow them to come in with this stuff. And it's like, that's why this message is for people that are doing sessions and people that are doing tarot or whatever, Reiki, massage therapy, whatever it is. Your boundaries still need to get stronger. I know that because my boundaries still need to get stronger. So this is part of that, boundaries getting stronger. So through being actually abandoned for the first time in the spiritual life of knowing me, I know that's where the healing lies. And I support that, whether through anger, through sadness. Ease and grace is all there is. If it's not ease and grace, something's out of line. Because all that I see more and more in certain people's lives on each side of this bell curve, like I said, which is now inverted, is ease and grace. I either see ease and grace in creating more suffering, or I see ease and grace in creating the ability to thrive more and more every day. I love you all so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Cheers, my family. Thank you.